Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome for joining us. If I could just ask everybody to mute if you're not speaking, that would be super. And we'll get going very shortly. We're just going to give it a couple of minutes. There's just a few more people coming in on the waiting room, and then we'll get going. Do feel free to put your cameras on if you'd like to. We'd love to see you. But likewise, if you want to hide, we're not going to hold it against you. So we've got quite a packed program tonight, so I think we'll just get going. But if if everyone doesn't mind muting, that'd be grand, just for any background noise. So a very warm welcome to the launch of the Rural Youth Project Smart Village this evening. My name is Rebecca Dawes. I'm one of the directors for the Rural Youth Project, and after months and months of work, I'm really excited that today the Rural Youth Project and Smart Village Scotland will be launching this site. So it's a really dynamic platform. It's going to help hopefully young people all across the world, but specifically in Scotland, and this initial stage of launching, to develop their own online community, and that they take ownership of. Smart villages, for those who don't know, so I'm just going to give you a bit of a background into what smart villages are. So they're a concept driven by the EU. They're connecting physical or like-minded communities in a digital space. They're about improving the economic, social and environmental conditions of these communities, so in this scenario, young people in rural areas, and developing cooperations with other groups. So they're full of social innovation, and they support all those who use them through the sharing of information, networking and general support for one another. And in a year when we've all missed personal interaction, I can't think of a better time to launch this site. So it's going to lead me to thank our funders, and then we'll get into the bulk of tonight's excitement. So our funders leader have been incredible. Without them, we wouldn't really have this site up and running. In particular, 5 specific local action groups who have fully funded the Smart Village platform for the Rural Youth Project. And it's not just in time that they fund money, but they also fund time. They commit a huge amount to support us and advise us and keep us in track. So a big thank you goes to them. So the lags are Perth and Kinross, and I want to give a particular shout out to Jackie, Sharon and Becky, who have been absolute rocks for us through this. Lanarkshire, the Outer Hebrides, the Scottish Borders, and also Angus. We've also got to thank Scottish Enterprise and Scottish Rural Network, who without them, again, we wouldn't be in this position. They've spent endless hours supporting us through development and advice. So they're a big thanks to them. Now, there's other people to thank, but we're going to do that as we go through the night because we want to get stuck in. As I said, it's fairly action-packed, so if you've got any questions, pop them in the chat, and Ellie's going to keep an eye on that and come back to you as we go through the evening, and you'll hear from Ellie a little bit later on. So to kick us off, I'm going to hand over to Jane, my fellow director, and she's going to thank a few more people and shape up how the Smart Village came about.
Thanks ever so much, Rebecca, and welcome everybody. It's really lovely to see you, particularly given that we're all a bit freer now. You're not. I think maybe the weather's helped us because it's raining, and you thought perhaps, well, I'll sit in and watch another Zoom call. So thanks ever so much. Just a little bit of background to the Rural Youth Project. Well, Rebecca and I kicked it off in 2018, really to understand what young people need and want, what they're not getting, and how communities and policymakers can really help young people achieve what they want. We're really rooted in supporting young people to make the change that they want to see on the ground in their rural communities. And our mission really is to inspire those under 30 to believe that they can build businesses, they can have their say at local and national level, and have the power themselves to make the difference. And you'll hear more about how the Smart Village is going to help that from our digital champions in a minute. So we've listened to, connected with and supported well over 1,000 young people from all over the world, but our focus dominantly has been in Scotland. And as Rebecca said, thanks dominantly to LEADER, to Scottish Enterprise and to Scottish Rural Network, plus other partners as well. And since the launch of the project in 2018, we've done all sorts. When we were allowed to, we spent a lot of time running events, skills development, and then from a digital perspective, a lot of storytelling, which you'll find on our website. And we've also run a couple of learning journeys, taking some older rural leaders and some young rural leaders to travel together to countries to learn together about different things, including circularity, climate, how we mitigate climate change, and how other rural communities in other parts of the world do what they do to encourage young people to stay and make their lives there. And then the pandemic hit. So we had great plans for last year. They didn't happen. It stopped us all in our tracks, as it has all of you. And thanks to leaders' flexibility, we switched our focus to what we could do digitally. And so the idea of the Smart Village was born. We're immensely grateful to Smart Village Scotland, who has been our partner on this development. They're responsible, if you have a look at their website, for a number of smart villages, including my personal favourite, which is the Perthshire Artisans, where you can buy some fab things from makers all around Perthshire. Tonight, however, you'll meet the true architects of the Smart Village, our 15 vibrant, diverse, young digital champions. These brilliant young people have driven what they feel they need on the platform to guide, connect, inspire and support their fellow young people. So the content is what they want, not what we think they want. They're all from different backgrounds with a wide range of experiences and interests, and have spent time talking to their communities and feeding their wants in as well as their own. So it's their words, it's their pictures, and it's the links that they feel that other young people want to see. It truly is a smart village for young people, developed by young people. And looking ahead to what we want the Smart Village to spread its wings to become, we want to see it connect to other young people from all over the world to create a network that's beyond our borders, but to help those within our borders. We also want to see it as a place where we can support young people to sell what they do or what they make. And like Rebecca, I'm immensely grateful to Leader and to the Smart Village Scotland team, but most importantly to our digital champions who have brought us to this point. I'm now going to hand you over to Jackie Brereton, who is going to tell you a little bit more about Leader and their involvement with this project, but I hope you enjoy the evening.
Thanks, Jane. Thanks so much. And really lovely to be here. Great to see so many familiar faces and some new ones too. So I'm talking from the perspective of chairing our local action group in the Perth and Kinross, but really on behalf of the 5 leader lags who have supported the project. And it's just amazing when I was thinking today about what it's about. For those of you who don't know, it's a really important rural development programme that's been running for best part of 20 odd, I think it's coming up for its 25th anniversary soon. But this last programme, over the last 6 years, there's been around 70 million spent across Scotland in a whole range of projects, covering community-based projects, heritage, enterprise, diversification, all sorts of things. And the great is that its principles are all around community-led development, and the local action groups are made up of a combination of public, private and sector, and the decisions have got to be made predominantly. There's got to be a majority of community-based members making those decisions, so it's a truly democratic of making sure that rural development is supported in the right way. And as well as community-led local development being a principle, it's also about cooperation, and it's about innovation and trying out new things. So when you think about the RYP Smart, it actually fulfills all of these. It's certainly been community-led through the digital champions. It's been a brilliant example of a cooperation project across 5 leader areas. And as it goes forward, that will increase because more and more people from across Scotland will get involved. And it's absolutely about innovation and trying out something new. It's truly pioneering. And it's great to see Adina from the Smart 21 project here tonight, because that's a huge network of smart villages right across 27 countries of Europe. And isn't it exciting to think that the Rural Youth Project Smart Village is now part of that network, and is probably it is the first one for young people. I'm sure it'll be the first of many developing across Europe. So we were just delighted to be able to support the Rural Youth Project to really to adapt what it had to do because of the pandemic last year. And I think that whole message of adapting and evolving and innovating has really been something that I think has inspired other projects and shown that young people can adapt. And, you know, if you think back even a year ago, we didn't realize, or we probably weren't aware, that young people were going to be so disproportionately affected by the pandemic. So it's even more appropriate that we're here tonight celebrating the launch of something that's truly going to support young people, help them to identify new opportunities, help them to connect with other, and to get as many people involved in different types of activity as possible. So from a leader perspective, we're delighted to have been able to support the project. Who knows what the future leaders going to be? We're transiting at the moment into whatever the post-Brexit model of leader will be in Scotland. But what we do know is that the Scottish Government and all the lags are really absolutely intent on keeping those principles of community-led cooperation and trying out new things. So here's to the future, and look forward to hearing more about the Smart Village and where it is. Thanks so much, Jane and Rebecca.
Well, thank you, Jackie, and thank you again for your support. And as you say, it's a very exciting future, and we can't wait to hit the button on the launch in a few minutes' time. So before we do that, we've got a very special guest with us this evening to kick us off. So if, like me, you're slightly addicted to social media, you probably won't have missed the social media account Miss Punny Penny. So she's got over 80,000 followers on Twitter alone, and a big sensation on TikTok as well. Her Scottish riddles are certainly entertaining people. So Lenny, who I gather is originally from Airdrie, but has also been in Fife and is now at St Andrews University studying Spanish literature, which is a task in itself, we've commissioned a very special poem this evening, especially for the launch of the Rural Youth Project Smart Village, and she's going to run through it with us this evening. So over to you, Lenny.
So it's currently untitled, but here we go. Well, I was mind the days we spent traversing every bend and turn, getting clays all drookit traipsing in and out the burn, coming hame lang past the time where dinners were put out. We mind the mind where minds were in, of that we hae nae doubt, because you can't change the person, even if you change the name, and you can maybe leave your hame tune, but you can't leave your hame. There isn't ony place you gang that taks you fae your home. There'll always be a place you hae to hang your bonnet on. A body can buy a hoose and make the hoose look braw, but empty hooses rot without a lum to reek a wa, so leave them to their second hames. I ken it's hard to thole, but keep your ain lum reeking, the yin aboon your soul. It doesnae matter where you stay for all the airts and peers. Hame bides very comfortably, in a hint where hearts. The hame you stay stays with you, no matter what you think. So even though the lecky's gub, the Wi-Fi's on the blink, there's one thing people dinna ken, and it's a crying shame. Aye, money maybe buys a hoose, but people make the hame.
Brilliant poem. That's the first time I've seen the full thing through, but absolutely fantastic. I think you've summed it up perfectly. Rural is home for so many of us, and you can never leave it. Wherever you go in the world, it always stays as part of you. I know you've been doing this for a while. What kicked off the craze of doing poems on social media? What was first inspired you to do it?
I actually read someone else's work, and then someone was like, oh, you should read your own stuff, and I asked my mom, and mom was like, you should do it, I love your poems. And I was like, nobody would even care about the stuff that I was writing, and then they kind of did, so aye, pretty chuffed.
And you've been I see you've been sharing Scottish words as well to try and sort of give a little bit of an insight into our Scottish language. How's that been going down? Have you had some good responses, and what's been the most favorite word?
It's great. I mean, I started it 310 days ago, and like every day there's been a new word, and every day more people have been engaging with it, and there's been some tough things to battle against, but it's been great. My favorite word's boke, because it's just a verb, noun and an adjective, so like you've got all your bases covered there.
Fantastic. If you've got any questions for Lenny, pop them in the chat, and I'll get Ellie to maybe ask a couple if you've got a few good questions coming through. But and what's been the most poem that's been most well received? I know you did some recently for some governmental elections, and you've done all sorts of things.
So I think the best, like my favorite one will always be "I'm Not Having Children." That was the first one I did, and that was the one that went a wee bit mental. But like, you know, it's been good to be able to get some themes out about, you know, like mental health and sort of Scottish identity and international identity kind of thing. That's been the best part, I think. No matter like what I write about, people are excited, so I get the chance to sort of push a few motives.
Great stuff. Ellie, do we have any questions in the chat?
Just a few people are asking, can you please share what your Instagram handle is, or how people can find you on social media? That'd be great.
So I don't have Instagram. I should probably get on that, but I've got a TikTok. It's Miss Punny Penny, and I've got on Twitter as Lenny Saurus. But yeah, just that's all I've got at the minute. That's enough.
Everyone's saying followed already. Thank you. That was lovely.
We'll pop them in the chat as well. But Lenny's kindly going to record it for us, and we're going to embed it on the website of the Smart Village platform, and we're also going to put it out on social media. So if you've loved it as much as all of us, pop on there and give it a wee share and give it a like. But a huge thank you, Lenny, for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Well, brilliant stuff, and a big thanks to Scottish Royal Network, who kindly supported that commission this evening. So that was very grateful to them. So now time for the big launch and the big reveal. So I'm actually going to hand over to Grant Murdoch and Ellie Strome, who are our joint coordinators on the project, and they're going to take you through a demonstration of the site with some of the amazing digital champions that Jane referred to earlier. So Grant and Ellie, over to you.
Okay, hello and good evening. I feel like there should be some big drum roll in the background, but since everyone's on microphone, just do that, because I'm just going to share screen. It's not like a big curtain. Well, imagine it's a big curtain, everyone do a drum roll, and hopefully the rural Wi-Fi is working. And you can see that. And then everyone takes the microphones off and goes, woo! And I will reel it back in. So, hello, my name is Grant Murdoch. I'm one of the joint project coordinators from Smart Village Scotland, and I've been working on this since October. So it has been an amazing journey, just put it in perspective, meeting some amazing people along the way, and obviously our digital champions. And as of the last couple of months, Ellie's joined us as well, which has been fab as a joint project coordinator. So where did it all begin? For those of you that kind of don't know, I'm just going to give a kind of a wee overview as to where it all started. And again, when lots of things had stopped, we were fortunate that this had started. And prior to 2020, RYP ran ideas cafes and workshops for young people, and then good old COVID came along. So they needed to do something. So thanks to Leader for providing the funding. They came to Smart Village Scotland, and we took it from there as a partnership going forward, where we decided to create a smart village for young people. And this is the point you're going, what the heck's a smart village? It sounds smart, village smart, what's going on? So a smart village, put very simply, I know it was explained earlier too, is bringing communities together. I mean, that can be geological, or it can be, you know, as a point of interest, a common interest. And in this case, young people, rural Scotland, that's the heart of it. And that's what it's been about from the get-go, kind of the core of everything we do. So the journey back in October, when I got started, we recruited some digital champions to get them on board. So we had digital champion applications from all over Scotland, from Orkney down to the borders. And I'm just wondering, if we've got some digital champions on this evening, can we maybe take a microphone off and say hello and wave at the camera?
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello there.
Thanks very much. Yeah, so that is kind of where it's been the focus from October through, from when everyone got involved in the project. And my colleague Claire and I, we ran a lot of sessions, a lot of workshops, from kind of upskilling to kind of from leadership to even simple things like writing blogs, which are now incorporated in the site, and feedback. It was lots of feedback. It was going to and from web developers, Do we like this? Don't we like this? What do we need? So everything you see on the site, like Jane said earlier, is has been going to and from our digital champions, and beyond that, done kind of a lot of research through other young people's networks as well. So that's been a big part of it, is going out to friends and family and going, do you like this? Do you think this fits? Does it work? And that's kind of where we're up to now. And we had our soft launch earlier in the year, and now we've been working on everything else. So where we're up to, as you can see, this is the homepage. And I'm going to hand over very shortly to Amber and Theo, two of our digital champions, to take you through the rest of the site. But just even some small things you might not have been aware of up until now from the get-go, things like light and dark mode, if you feel you want to change in between, and a members area as well, which we felt was really trying to create a place that you want to go back to, and making this the first place to go for young people that live in rural Scotland, and hopefully further afield in times to come. So I am going to just give you a quick wee scoot through here. You will be able to, this is now live, so you're able to go on. I would advise you to have a look in your phones too, because it looks incredible on your phone. It's an app-based platform, so you can look in your phone. It should be nice and easy and clean to work around, which was a main part of feedback, is keeping it really easy to use. The functionality was kind of at the core of it, as you can kind of see here. And then if you're wanting to find out more about our digital champions, or you maybe want to get involved in the future, Ellie will give some more options later on, but you can find out all about our current digital champions on here, along with some intro videos as well. So on the topic of digital champions, I'd like to welcome to the stage Amber. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. How are we doing?
Yeah, good, thanks.
So we're just going to go through the site, and Amber, if you're happy, just to introduce yourself briefly, and we'll go through resources, news, blogging news, and move on.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm Amber, and I started working at the start of the project with Grant and the whole team of Digital Champions, and it's been super cool to feel like everything we've said, almost everything everyone said, has been implemented in some way on the website and on the platform. So that's been super cool. But yeah, so we ended up deciding that the most valuable sections to put the website into would be resources, blog and news, and the opportunity map. So I'll walk us through resources and blog and news, and yeah, show you what we've got. So case studies is the first section. We were super keen to include case studies on the website, because we thought it would be a useful sort of leading by example kind of situation. So there's young people who have already taken advantage of niches in rural Scotland that already exist. But by unpacking these stories that other people have kind of brought to us and that we've researched, we're able to kind of illustrate and also link back to things in the toolkits and the templates that would enable other young people in rural Scotland to kind of take advantage and follow by example. So yeah, we're showing through inspiring stories that the possibilities that exist already, but have previously been a little bit obscure. And also in resources, we've got templates. So our kind of idea behind this was to have something to download that would be really accessible. So everyone in school and kind of everyone leaving school and starting to think about university doesn't have a lot of time to kind of go through these things. Like adult life can seem super overwhelming. Like I realize lots of people enter adult life before they leave school. But we thought the best way to kind of utilize this platform for this kind of offering, if you like, was to kind of find the templates that we feel will be most useful for young people and put them all in one spot in a way that they could just download and use immediately, or be inspired by if they don't know where to start. And the third resource section is the toolkits. So similarly to the templates, we found the kind of clearest, simplest guidance we can find on how to do the difficult bits of starting or running or joining a business in rural Scotland. So they should provide material and content that might feel inaccessible when it's not completely relevant to young people in rural Scotland. So we kind of wanted to find stuff that we found super accessible and things that make it seem slightly less overwhelming. Because, you know, when you Google how to do a tax return, it's insane. You get absolutely overwhelmed by kind of agencies and government bodies that can help you to do it. So we've figured out what the simplest, clearest toolkits are, and we've made them available on the website just to download. And one of the coolest parts of this bit of the website is if you're a member and you have your membership login, you can save all the things that you feel are most relevant to you or that you just want to revisit, because not everyone wants to start a business coming out of school. Like, not everyone wants to go to uni. Like, everyone's going to have their own different pathways. So we're hoping that there's going to be accessible parts for every walk of life in rural Scotland. And when people want to create their own profiles, they can save things that are relevant to just them on there. Yeah. And there's also a filter that Grant's showing just now. So stuff that specifically you want to find is on the website through the filter function. The other thing that we've spent a lot of time working on is the news and blog section. So news is super oversaturated on social media, on your news apps. None of it feels relevant or like it's for us, because it does feel like a young person in rural Scotland, you're kind of in a unique situation, and it can be really hard to understand that lots of people are coming from a very similar background to you or want to break into the markets that you do as well. So we wanted to make the news section kind of relevant, interesting and fun for young people in rural Scotland. It should be tailored, so it should include things like well-being, lifestyle, kind of inspiring stories from local communities, but also stuff like job opportunities and funding opportunities for various things that are going on in the local area, and hopefully drawing people into storylines that they wouldn't otherwise see. And the second part of that bit is the blog, because we felt like we needed a space that would kind of enable slightly more free speech than the news section. So our idea behind this is finally to get multiple young people who aren't digital champions either to kind of write their thoughts and make all the information available, like accessible to young people from rural Scotland, kind of condense it and make it relevant to other people's stories. So we want everyone to write things. Like, if people kind of go through school and know they like writing, they'll have an opportunity to kind of test it in an online digital situation. It should be a friendly, open space where everyone can contribute and hopefully inspire some people who might not know where they're going, or help guide the way to kind of toolkits and things for people who do. So yeah, we're pretty happy with how it's going, and it's been super inspiring to be part of a group of people who all want the same thing and feel as though people are interested in the gaps in information and kind of the parts of rural Scotland that have made it in the past feel like it's difficult to be young people running a business or starting something here. It really feels like this initiative is kind of addressing exactly what we want and how we want to do it as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that, Amber. And yeah, just highlighting that this is that kind of go-to place for all young people in rural Scotland, no matter what your background is, no matter what stage in life you're at and you need help. And you don't just need a business to be a part of this. Like, say you could be out of school, it's almost making those opportunities available, making you aware of what opportunities are available. And yeah, and just highlighting the likes of the wee love hearts there will be saved into your library, which we'll have a wee look at in a minute. So we're going to move on to the opportunity map, which again is another part of the site which has been added because of feedback along the way from digital champions and their wider networks of young people. So welcome to the stage. We've got Theo. Thank you, Theo. Theo's Wi-Fi was not working very well on the way in, so we've got the heartbeat going. So I don't need to talk any more than you need me to or want me to. Yeah, so we'll move on to the opportunity map. Hi, Theo.
Hi there. Well, old habits die hard. I have lived rurally my whole life, and yeah, it's just not going to change when it comes to Wi-Fi. So I'm Theo. I've been working as a digital champion as well, and I'm going to talk you through the opportunities map. And the really interesting thing about this is that originally it was not going to be a feature of the website. It originated entirely from feedback amongst ourselves and from contacting different people. And one of the reasons I absolutely think it's going to be amazing is that it really breaks the trend of these kind of resources for young people being essentially coming from, it's not a pretty way to word this, but I'm going to say old people, because I'm 18, and you know, when you're in school and everything people are telling you about getting jobs, accommodation, taxes, everything, it's all just like, you know, just write a CV, just do this, just do that. And you're like, okay, thanks, very cool. Yeah, they don't really understand how to get across in the same way. So with this, we're hoping to collate all these different opportunities, whether it's employment, training, volunteering. As you can see, there's a filter, so you can filter it to find out exactly what it is you're looking for. All these things are going to be featured on a map across all of Scotland to make sure that the rural young person's interests, needs, and passions are finally represented in one space, so they don't have to spend hours and hours looking across all different places to find these things out. It's all going to be in one place, and this kind of thing doesn't exist anywhere else. There's nothing to compete with it. And that's why we're so excited about it. And the reason we decided to go for it is because we have been using our as the Digital Champions, we've been using our social networks, our friend groups, our online presence and experience to communicate with people all across Scotland to figure out what the best way to achieve our goal of helping young people would be. And this is looking like to be one of them. And there's just so many neat little features. You'll instantly look on the map, you'll see an opportunity, give it a sniff, and you can favorite it. You can filter it to see exactly what it is you want. And in that way, there's always going to be something great. And one of the key features of this all is that it's almost self-sustaining, because what it's going to be is hopefully more and more people will be coming to the website. And when they see that website, the opportunities map, they'll be able to recommend things for us to put on there. So if someone knows a certain organization or opportunity somewhere, they can let us know and we can feature it on the map. But it's not just targeted at users, it's also going to be helping businesses, as they will be coming to the website as well. They'll see the map and they'll think this is a spicy way to get some exposure, and they'll be doing that. So they can, again, manage their own opportunity, host it, word it exactly how they want, and represent themselves. And that way, it's sort of going to be constantly working in tandem with the young people and the business owners and anyone else that wants to get involved. I think that's most of it, unless Grant's trying to like desperately show me a feature that I've completely forgotten to mention. But either way, there's actually dark mode. Show that off, because I think that looks nice. That's some feedback from a young person, because quite often we're looking at websites way later than we should be because we procrastinated. And when you're doing that at past your bedtime, you don't want to get flashbanged when you open the website. So that's a key feature about this kind of thing, this whole project. Young people are really giving their impression and their own take on it. So that's my little presentation there.
Great. Thank you very much, Theo and Amber. I'll just round off there with our members area, which came from, like I said, Digital Champions, other young people, and making this a place where we want young people to come back to and use. Also talking about the term young people, we said we weren't going to use the term young people because we don't like the term young people, but actually trying to find another term is very, very difficult. But this is a place where you can come and you can store things, and anything you've maybe seen through that tour there when I've been clicking the love heart, you've got your own library there, so everything gets saved in here. So right now, and when the website gets more and more populated, this will become more and more important to be able to save everything. If you want to go back and look at it, especially like the jobs, toolkits, templates, or maybe a news article, you don't have time to look at there and then. And again, you can do it on your phone too. And when you go maybe back onto your computer later at night, you can look at that news article you saw earlier on. So really, really helpful. And you can remove things from there maybe once you've read them. And then again, through a members area, you can manage your own wee profile there as well. And the opportunity map when you're logged in, everything's on there. When you're not a member, you'll find that you're able to click and you're able to see everything on the site, but you have to log in to apply for something or log in to save something to your membership. But it's not difficult to set up an account. We'll show you that in a minute. So yes, so that is everything from me. I'm going to hand over to Ellie to let you know how you can get involved yourself with the project. Would love to hear from you, and Ellie will tell you a bit more. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Fantastic to see so many people on, so many young people, and yeah, a massive thank you to all our digital champions for all the work you've done, and everyone behind the scenes at RYP Smart Village. It's been an amazing journey. We've still got a long way to go with the project running until the end of August at the earliest. But yeah, over to Ellie.
Hi, thank you so much, guys, and thank you, Theo. I knew you'd get spicy in there somewhere, so I'm glad it made a feature. But thanks, guys. That was a brilliant little tour, and it is a very exciting moment that we can kind of show you what I've been involved with for the last 2 months, but these guys have been working on for months and months and months, and it is really satisfying to see it come together now and see everybody's ideas kind of come together in a big, yeah. It's amazing. So I think it's going to be a really useful website, and we're really looking forward to kind of getting your feedback, and if you can share within your networks to get other people's feedback, to kind of hear how it is useful for people. So my bit, I would like to show you guys what kind of next steps are, and I think Grant's going to guide you around the site. But yeah, the next bits that we're kind of asking from you are to make your own profile. So sign up. It will take you 2 minutes to make your own profile. Yeah, just filling out those few details is very self-explanatory. And when you get into your members area, as the guys have taken you around, there's all the different opportunities to submit an opportunity. So you may not be a young person yourself, and that is absolutely fine. We'd love you to make your profile. If you have a business, an organization, or anything that kind of is anyway supportive towards young people, I think this is an amazing way of submitting opportunities. So job opportunities, voluntary opportunities, to go onto the map, because obviously you saw the opportunity map. It hasn't got tons of stuff on at the moment, but this will be populated as we go forward, as more people want to submit their opportunities to get them seen here. And obviously the whole point of this site is trying to join the dots, trying to make those links that haven't necessarily existed in rural areas in Scotland predominantly, and then we're as we go forward, this will open up and up to people all over the UK and beyond. So signing up, and you can submit an opportunity. As you can see, Grant's taking you through here. There's opportunity to put anything up. It could be an event as well. You'll see that there's lots of events going on, so anything that is going to benefit people, to help them kind of build up their skills, their confidence, or the different kind of connections that we can make by making people aware of what is out there. So that's one of the functions that we'd like you to kind of look into. And then the next is the directory. So I wondered, Grant, if you can take us back to that screen where these are just some of the businesses that we're in direct contact with. And now we're really excited that we can kind of open up the directory. So if you go on and create your profile, you can not only submit your own business if you are a young person with a business, or if you have a business that is in service of young people, then would love you to put your business in, submit your business into the directory. But you can also nominate other people's businesses, and they will then receive an email from us saying you've been nominated, would you like to create your own profile? And this is going to be an amazing resource for people to come to find out who's where, what's going on, and hopefully it will really add value to young people's businesses and get them the exposure that they deserve. But also it will be a really good opportunity for businesses to find, where young people are and what's going on. So that's fantastic. And Amber already introduced you to the blog and the news function, and we'd really like, that's an opportunity for your voice to be heard. So that's the other area we'd love to hear from you guys. And that's probably the best way to do that is to get in contact with us and drop us an email. But if you want your blog featured, this is a fantastic place to kind of, as Amber said, if you want to test out your writing skills, if you're interested in getting some exposure for your stories and your experiences and your reflections on what it's like to be a rural young person at the moment and in all sorts of different areas, we'd love to hear from you, because this is an area, this is a platform that is for every version of rural. So there is no, it's not for just land working, or it's not for you know, just setting up your own business. There's so many different versions of that. So we've got people that have set up social enterprises involved with us. We've got people that work in events. We've got food people. We've got all sorts. And so it really needs to be somewhere that everyone feels like they can have a voice. And so we'd love to hear from you if you want to submit a blog. And then if you scroll down, there's the news section, and we will be all over this. And we've got a team of young people that are going to be working with us going forward, and we're really excited to have the next few months at least funded so that the DCs can be, the digital champions can be on board helping us do this. So we've got the news section, and we want to make sure it's news you guys want to hear about. So if you come across stories that you think, God, this is not getting the airtime it deserves, this is massive, this really impacts on me and my friends, I think other people need to hear about this, then send it over. We'd love to give it the exposure it deserves. So that's another thing. And the email address for that, I think if Grant, you just roll on down, I think our email address for Hello Every Rural Youth Project, it actually is going to change, but we will change that. So it's a Smart Village, Rural Youth Project Smart Village email address that you guys can email. This also will work and go through to the same one. But we'd love
in the chat as well.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, so send us an email, and that will be manning that and making sure that you guys can get your get what you want to see up there, because it's a website for everyone. That's what we really want to make sure that everybody is really aware of, that this is like going to be, we want so many people to be a part of this. And the next phase for us is really exciting, and the web developers that have been absolutely incredible, they're called HiAce, and they've been so fantastic at supporting us to get this out here. And they are really excited about this next phase, because we've got 2 new functions that we'd like to introduce, and they are, there's going to be an embedded Zoom room in this site, so that as we go forward and we'll have various events that we put on, we will always do it from here. So it will be an embedded Zoom room, and we want other people to be able to use that. So if there are events and things that people want to host, events and meetings from other youth organizations that you want to host through this platform, then that's going to be an available thing. And if young people want to book it out in order to put on something that's going to benefit rural young people, then that is also available. So just get in touch if you have something that you'd like to host here. And the second thing that is very exciting is we're going to have an embedded, that lots of you might be already familiar with this, but Discord is a chat forum that we are going to have as an embedded part of this website. So you can make your own profile, and that will be exclusive for young people. But what it means is that you can actually connect with the people that are also using this site. So you're building your network, and you're constantly building those connections. And we all know that when we get in room with a load of people, then amazing things happen and ideas can really take off, and we can share skills and share interests and share experiences. And so we're hoping in the best way possible that we can manage, that isn't all getting us all into one room, then we hope that the chat forum will allow for those conversations to sprawl after we've had events, and if there's an interesting news thing. So hopefully there's going to be loads of opportunities for us all to build much stronger, much better connections, and ultimately in the future, we hope that this will really contribute to making rural places for young people a lot more resilient, a lot more exciting. And we know that there is a version of this that you don't have to sacrifice your career and your interests and your life and all of the things that you want to do in your life just because you live in a rural area. And so hopefully if we can come together like this on a platform like this, then we can make sure that those the gaps are filled. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone. I think I'll probably say goodbye and hand over to Rebecca, but really appreciate everybody showing up tonight, and thank you again to all our digital champions that have made this possible.
Thank you, Ellie, and thank you, Grant. Grant, I wonder if you'd mind just stop sharing for a second, because I was conscious that we were sharing when we introduced digital champions earlier. So if you're a digital champion, would you give us a wave or put a thumbs up? Because I think you deserve absolute recognition for everything you've done. So massive thank you to all of you and to all of the other people you've worked with, all your friends and your family that you've interrogated about how this site should look over the last 6 to 8 months. We're so grateful for everything that you have done. So that's sort of the end of the launch as we come to a close this evening. Hopefully you're all going to go away and set up your member profiles and get actively involved on the site and have a really good look through the site. But just as a reiteration of what Grant and Ellie said, a massive thank you to the Smart Village Scotland team. So Grant is on here tonight, but there's a huge team behind the scenes working with him. So big thank you to them. To Ellie, who, while she says she's only been here 2 months, she's been part of the Royal Youth Project for nearly 3 years, and she's got absolutely loads of knowledge and has been fundamentally core to helping Grant and the team bring it together in the last few weeks. Big thank you also to the Royal Youth Project team. So we've got Alana and Jane, as you've met before, some of you, but we've also got Rose and Laura on here who've for the last 24 hours been busy uploading some last minute content. So big thank you to all of them. And I suppose all of our partners and Leader and Scottish Royal Network that I mentioned earlier, we really can't do any of this without absolutely everybody that's been on here this evening. And Lenny, she's still with us, she's at the top there. A big thank you to Lenny. I think you've inspired all of us and we all loved your poem. So we'll pop that up for everybody to watch. A few of us are going to stay on the call. So myself, Grant, Ellie and Jane are going to stick around if you've got any questions. But if you want to get involved, you want to look at a partnership, you want to look at any ways to support or feedback on the site, our doors and our emails are always open. Never hesitate to get in touch. But thank you again for joining us. We did record this evening, so we'll pop it up for everybody to watch, and have a very, very lovely evening.
Thanks. And just to say that our email I've just popped in the chat there, it's smartvillage@ruralyouthproject.com if anyone's wanted to get in touch via email. And just to top on the Discord will be another way of people getting properly involved rather than having to resort to email, which some people might feel is a bit medieval, but the Discord will be properly bringing things up to speed. So yeah, back to you, Rebecca. I just want to say the email's in the chat.
Thanks, Grant. We'll drop you all an email on Monday with some links to the site and to set up directories if you haven't managed to get on there as well. So keep an eye out for that if it comes into your mailboxes. And yeah, have a lovely evening. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us and for everybody's support.